Hi, learner lovers. This is Tracy again from Totally Not Taboo. This is where we talk about sex and sexuality that is considered taboo. And we have lots of fun on this podcast where we explore so much around what is considered taboo that holds us back from really being passionate lovers, passionate people, tapping into our creativity as human beings without all the scripts that hold us back from being the most, what God has created, really. You know, if you believe in God or higher power, we were created with this childlike creativity, playfulness, curiosity. And somewhere along the line, we lost it. And so on this podcast, we explore all the possibilities that people present, how people live their lives with such a freedom of expression through sexuality. So yes, a lot of it is considered taboo, but we'd like to show you how things can be really normalized and exciting, and hope that you will try these things that feel comfortable and safe for you. So today on this episode, I have the magnificent Scarlet Moon sitting in front of me.
Hi, everyone.
And this is really exciting. I know all of them are exciting, but this is something quite unique. So I'm going to introduce Scarlet Moon. She has a background as an international model, actress, and professional dancer. Scarlet Moon is a public figure, motivational speaker, and she's dedicated her life to transformation, both on stage and in the hearts of those she serves. She's also a breakthrough coach, and she's an expert in brand identity development. She empowers not only businesses and service providers, but also individuals to reclaim their authentic voice and purpose. What I love here is that she's known for her work in bridging the gap between the masculine and feminine. She helps men channel their life force energy into empowered action and supports women in returning to their embodied, intuitive selves. She runs workshops, including sensual dance and holistic wellness experiences, which are transformative spaces and grounded, where people are invited to awaken, express, and rise. Through every medium she touches, Scarlett inspires radical self-love, deep healing, and embodied authenticity. It sounds like water.
Yeah, as heavy as water sometimes, but it definitely flows.
Wow.
Yeah, it's me in a nutshell, jack of all trades. But yeah, I do have a love for humanity and for standing together and uniting. So here I am on the road I've chosen. Not always the easy one, but always the one that's well worth it.
What I've learned in my life is that easy is not good. Easy gets you so far.
Yeah, it's like kind of like I see it this way. If something becomes easy, it means you've walked your path with it. You've now experienced it. It's now in its fruitful stage. And you have to start over and do something else. You always have to have that friction to create the fire, to create the movement, to create the change. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is a muse?
Okay, so muse, the mystic muse, me. I think the mystic side came from my spirituality and how deep I like to go into the human psyche and the things people don't want to speak about. But the muse side is kind of like, it is the inspiration I am for many people, and especially for men. I was, being a model and dancer for so long. I did burlesque internationally. I'm still doing it. It's just COVID took that industry away in South Africa. So we're trying to rebuild it a bit. And like during that journey, I found myself actually... Where do I start? Let me put it all together. I started modeling when I was really young, and as tall as what I look on the internet, I'm actually really tiny. Everyone that meets me is like, oh, I thought you would be taller. So that was the thing. I wasn't tall enough to get into agencies, and there was a part of me that in my 20s, I had to decide if I wanted to continue doing that or get a normal job like everyone was saying. And I just weighed up the pros and cons and saw, okay, what have I not done? What have I done? And artistic nude modeling came up, and it was the one thing I did not try. And to be honest with you, it was the one thing that I was shit scared of. I was really so scared of it because I was already uncomfortable in my body. As I grew up as a woman, back in the day, there was no proper role models for us. TV, it was woman in the background, skinny, and all of that. So I suffered with eating disorders, all of that, and I decided, okay, cool, I really want to pursue my modeling career still. And I thought, okay, cool. Artistic nude modeling is beautiful. I've always liked the female figure. I think it's absolutely beautiful. My end year matric art project was actually based on the woman's body, and I got 0 for it because the teacher said it was pornographic, which I don't understand. But anyways, let's leave it at that. And and then what happened was I got to the shoots. I actually booked with someone that was really well known in the industry that did very classy work, and I dropped my my gown that I was in, and it was the most comfortable I've ever felt in my life. I realized there that it was the clothes and the way people want you to look that restricts you. And it really empowered me in a sense. And as my career went on, I then started making money from it. And on the internet, I started advocating for freedom nipple and for women's rights and all of that. And so it just went on, and COVID happened. And the only reason I was one of the first content creators on OnlyFans. The only reason I was there is people wanted to pay to see my artistic nudes, and it was just because of the nipples. And I saved the money and used it to travel. And then COVID happened, and then this whole career of mine, it started flourishing. And I started coaching women. I was on TV. I was on radio stations because I really did help quite a lot of women to maintain some form of income during COVID. I never did pornography, only artistic nudes and cute little strip teasers, and that's how far it went. So I took my dancing, I took who I was as a female, and I just went with it. I really just went with it. Before that, I studied all my coaching, psychology I started. So that was the direction I actually wanted to go. And then COVID had the universe had just hold my beer, we're going this way. And I just followed it. And I think it was the greatest blessing that I ever did. I am not doing OnlyFans anymore, only because I'm focusing on the coaching itself. I learned what I needed to learn out of the journey. However, I got to know men, and I got to know women really, really well during that period of time. I got to know women on an intimate level of the struggles that they have in this society, where it's not always easy for a woman to make money, and it's not always easy for her to look after her own children alone, not making money, whatever the background was. Not all women that do risque things is risque itself. They're just trying to make ends meet. And I got to know men, and I got to understand pornography quite well. And I got to realize that we are separated. And as much as women say we don't need men, I don't agree with that statement. Without men, nothing would be here. Men went to war for us. They built stuff for us. They are literally the machine that keeps going, where woman's energy doesn't allow us to even keep going every day and stay in the same type of mode every day. And men were sad. A lot of the money that I did make off there was having conversations with men, and they paved my career. They really did. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that did support my career. I see you all. And that's how I find myself where I am. I started the coaching, and I started helping men find their authentic voice and to start dating and get out there also, because it's such a struggle with pornography being on the internet, what it does to the brain, and just the way we're very social on social media, but it's very nerve-wracking for most men, even CEOs in boardrooms, to speak, to use their voice, to get into their emotions, and women are classified as being crazy because of their emotions and all of this. So I started coaching the men, and now I'm moving into a direction where I'm bridging the gap, because I do feel like the only problem that we have is the fact that we're separated as man and woman. And when I say masculine and feminine, it is also the energies inside of us. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a man to have a feminine traits, because feminine traits is just more intuitive and creative. So that's where the life force and everything comes in.
So I can really hear how much you love what you do.
Yes.
I can hear the passion. I can see the passion.
Yeah.
And that is shown to me how much you speak about it, and it's full. It's so full. And I identify that as well, because when I start talking about what I love to do, it follows on like a train, and there's no start, there's no end to.
Yeah,
to
I can
what
just add and add and add
Exactly.
more and just talk about it forever. But
exactly,
yeah.
it's amazing. And what I'm also curious about is, so there are lots of taboos, sexual taboos,
Yes.
that you're telling me about. And since we are talking about those taboos, the first one, your shame was your art teacher.
Yeah, that was where it started, I guess. It's the project itself was, the theme was being trapped. So what I did with the theme was take eating disorders, because that was something I was very familiar with, anorexia. So my pre-studies was just the female form, nothing. It was really so PG. Like it was literally like some of the science drawings and all of that. And the last final painting was a woman's torso, and it was breaking open.
Sure.
So it was really not something that was sensual and sexy. And she actually, I think I failed. I failed art because my final art project was pornographic.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It kills me that. It's like, it's just devastating. And that's the first sense of shame that we feel.
Especially as a woman.
As women.
Yeah.
Well, that is exactly it. Women feel shame too. There's no doubt about it. And over their bodies.
But there's sculptures of men, like in art, completely nude. And there's a lot of women also nude. And that was my whole thing, is just like, she must probably felt uncomfortable looking at her own body or another female's body. She might have liked it, and then she hated it in return.
Yeah. I always say that a lot of women's hang-ups around their bodies, and the reason why they don't have these conversations with their mothers about menstruation and pleasure and sex is because the mother hasn't been healed.
Yeah.
Has so much trauma and shame around their own bodies.
Yeah.
And so it follows through the generations. Would you agree?
Definitely. Generational trauma or generational conditioning sits in your DNA. I see it a lot of times in the men that I work with. And I see it now with the woman. I actually came to realization as us women, we feel like we're not being listened to, and the masculine is not hearing and understanding our emotions. However, they were never taught how to deal with their emotions itself. So we're literally trying to buy milk from a hardware store. And I feel like a lot of women do not understand their bodies. There is so little studies that's been done on the female body over the centuries, or whatever you want to call it. I'm someone just calling centuries forever. That it's kind of like a shame thing. And especially even being a professional burlesque dancer, funny enough, burlesque, the art form, is still classified as sex work. And even though it's theatre and stage, I was classified as a sex worker. And in that community, because I did the artistic nude photography, you like burlesque, you've got nipple caps on, you don't show the nipple either. Because I was on OnlyFans, I got shamed also for how can I go that route and how can I do that. And I was like, do you guys actually subscribe and see what I do? You know, it's the nipple. But I don't feel ashamed of what I've done in my career and who I am. And I definitely picked up from a young age that my destiny is kind of to be the vulnerable one, to speak and to stand up, because it takes one person to show a brave moment and to show people that this is who I am. That's why I also decided to go on TV. I was on carte blanche because I was a whistleblower for a lot of revenge porn being leaked and all of that. Also like a very dodgy site, and I was like, am I going to really do this? Like on Sunday, everyone's going to know exactly what I do. And I was like, I still made the decision because I knew that in the end of the day, just someone standing up for the underdog, because it's still, even though that industry is so big, it's still a thing to do. And for women to also see that it's okay. Like you don't have to hide in shame. And often, like some of my clients, they've never actually looked at their own, like, little muffin. They haven't seen or explored. And I was always sexually curious. Like from a young age, I wanted to understand it. It's just always been like kind of my path, being the black sheep and all. I don't think I did it to rebel, but I've always found my body very like fascinating.
Yeah.
But a lot of women are being put to shame. And yes, there's a lot of times where bodies and our sexuality is being used in the wrong context, but again, it's conditioning, because for so long we were suppressed, and we had to learn to manipulate and navigate throughout the years. And some women are just unconscious of that program that's also been passed down by our mothers or grandmothers, whatever the situation's been, to survive.
Yeah, 100%. OnlyFans. So I want to just tell you about my experience with OnlyFans is absolutely zero.
Yeah.
I've never looked at a profile. I only came across this concept, this idea. Wow, I think it was maybe, you know when it was probably about 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years
you
ago.
know, and
okay, that makes
I
sense.
was like, what? My kids knew about it before me. I'm like, what is this thing?
It kind of blew up in COVID here in South Africa. Yeah.
And so I don't understand it. Won't you tell me? I mean, even, I have looked a little bit into it, but I've never even opened a page. I don't know why I'm just not so curious about it. But there's a lot of controversy about it. So please explain to me and our audience, for those who are naive like me.
So OnlyFans was a platform that was originally created for any creator, artist. It's not just erotic things that's on there. So it's a Facebook where you can essentially pay a subscription, where most of the platforms now are doing it. Instagram, you can pay subscriptions. Everywhere else, I mean, OnlyFans had a thing going there.
Is it no longer open? Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's still going. Going strong.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was originally created for that. But they got a lot of the cam girls, girls from the porn industry and everything on there, because what they could start doing is charge. They could shoot their own content, they can charge their own rates, they can actually make the money in the safety of their own home, not being controlled by pimps and whatever it is. I mean, Pornhub's being sued for I don't even know how much for human trafficking. Most of the girls are trafficked on there. So in essence, I don't think it's a bad thing. A lot of women actually bought back the rights to have the rights to their own body. However, the platform's not just there for that, and you can do whatever you want to on there. So it's from the deepest risque to just cute, like cosplay girls on there making money for their craft. You can be a musician on there. You can literally, anyone that wants to make money from their craft can go onto OnlyFans and do it. It
has the reputation of sex exploitation. When what's the word I'm trying to look for is bit of voyeurism. And so is it a thing where I can talk to the person on OnlyFans, or is it just you buy a certain content and
Yeah.
you watch, or is it interactive?
You can buy content, you can chat. It looks almost exactly like a Facebook.
Oh,
So it works exactly like that. It depends what the content creator wants to do. So if they selling chats or if they're selling content, it's really custom based. It's just too broad spectrum to say it's only like this. So it really depends on the person. So some people do sexy chats and they charge for it. Some people only sell their feet. I mean, feet's a big thing. It's a big
feet are a
fetish.
big fetish.
I think the most I got paid for a foot video was about 2,000 Rand. It was just my feet in sandals. Yeah.
Was it your feet moving?
Yeah, just
or
dangling the
sandals. Wow.
Yeah.
And I know these are like stupid, naive questions, but
no question stupid.
no, I know, but it just feels like I really should have looked. I should at least look into it once. But the other thing is that I wonder if the danger for some young girls is that they create their accounts just to do a little bit of modeling and then are encouraged by the client, so the subscriber, to show more and more and more and more.
That's it. No, that's definitely it. Just to bring awareness to it, Twitter, which is now apparently X, used to be full of free pornography. So let's just put that out there. So people pointing fingers to a subscription-based webpage that's going to be completely closed and still being on Twitter. It's like if you're going to go and look for promiscuous content, you will find it anywhere. Facebook's just really pulled down on it. There used to be groups with this in Facebook at one stage. So I do feel like there's just harsh judgment from people that most probably doesn't want to pay for the content. Just like in brackets. No, I'm just joking. However, sorry, what was the question? Now I'm like down there.
Being a dangerous place for young.
For young. So that was exactly why I coached a lot of girls. And I don't think people realize that you can put anything on the internet and never comes back. Your phone, the intimate images on your phone, you can be on Mug and Bean's Wi-Fi and they'll hack you and take those images also. So there is the risk on the internet itself. Now put yourself on a webpage like that. A lot of girls or boys now or whoever it is has the impression like, I'm just going to start an OnlyFans and I'm going to make so much money. First of all, it's a business. You have to run it like a business. You have to advertise and literally tell people like, why must you pay for my content? Secondly, you have to think of the consequences, because there is consequences of like, what if my mother finds out? What if my husband finds out? What if my boss finds out? Look, you can moonlight. It depends what's in your contract. They can't actually do anything. Got unfairly dismissed for my Instagram account, which was very vanilla at one stage from a very big mining company, but they weren't the corporates. It was the ones I got sent into. So that is definitely the risk because, people are malicious and judgmental. And if you don't have thick skin, you will be criticized. You will be broken down. I still, up until today, if people hear things, they search me on the internet. I mean, I don't hide anything. I am who I am and I'm proud of where I come from and I know what I'm doing with what I've done in my past. However, till today, I still get family members of people I'm dating going on to my like, oh, do you know she's doing this and that? And like as if I'm not going to disclose who I am in the end of the day. And it is dangerous because it can destroy your life. And people are pushy. They are. If you don't have a strong brand identity and a strong, this is why I'm doing it and this is like my morals in it, you will be sometimes offered a lot of money. I've been offered a lot of money to do all sorts of things in my life and I've declined it because it's not part of where I'm going in my direction and what I want to do. So a lot of girls fall into the trap of not understanding business quite well and like how to market their business. Then they start just getting really desperate and they fall for the money. And then they think it's only this time. And then the money is good, and it's like, oh, that's like I need to pay this bill and that bill, and then it starts just coming in, and then before you know it, you find yourself there, and you can't undo it.
100%.
You can't, and you have to keep it really, really safe because they do scrape your accounts. So there is hackers that come in often. They take the content off and then they upload it for free on the internet. And when it's there,
you can't take
it's
it
done.
down.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's done. It takes a long time to try and clear your name from that.
So I think what's going through my mind is that there's a difference between you and other people on OnlyFans. Not only you, but I'm interviewing
Only you. I need to start a webpage. Only you.
Only you, exactly.
The authentic platform.
Exactly. The difference seems to be is that you are consciously aware of the beauty of your body and sharing not what it's a spiritual sharing. It's a consciousness that this is my beauty that I'm sharing, not because I want anything back really, but it's a matter of this is who I am and it's beautiful and I'm okay if you look.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And there's a thin line between that because, like over the years, I got the whole, but you're asking for it. And in the end of the day, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman and her expression. And the female figure is something that's been admired in art for a very long time until pornography came around and really took away quite a lot of it. And before that, there's quite a lot of other reasons also. However, like a woman in her fullest expression is beautiful. And the way your mind reacts to it, that is completely, entirely your thing. And I've had it a lot. I've had people in my inbox saying they're getting divorced because of me. I don't even know who they are. Yeah. And I'm not the type of person that will get in between people's relationships.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. I'm not on the internet to ask for attention and things. I have my little duty and my mission in life, and I've always been quite strongly aligned with I wanted to help the world. I wanted, even from a young age when I was a little girl, I said I'm going to change the world, and everyone laughed at me. They wanted to send me for therapy because it's not realistic life goals. And I am. It's now finally making sense why I've gone through the industries I have. My best friend used to be a sex worker, and I saw how that industry worked on her. And I have walked the walk and I see where it is now. And that's where the whole birthing of my new courses is coming from, is helping men transmute their sexual energy into life force energy.
Beautiful.
Because in the end of the day, I feel like men are being held back from their heart space, and they are being kept in their low vibrational frequencies, which is up to the sex industry a lot, keeping them there. And if they lose touch with their heart, they lose touch with the connection that they have with their dream state. And men that don't have their own dreams anymore isn't building and helping and providing their communities. So
Can you just say this stuff again? A little slower.
A little slower, yeah. Like when
this is something that I really would love the men to hear.
Yeah.
It's so important. We could talk about everything for so long.
Yeah.
But I want this to shine for now.
Okay.
Yes, about the men and the low vibration and so on.
Okay, so let's just get to the point of life force energy, what it is. Life force energy is any energy that essentially can create something. So if you look at it in a man and a woman, the orgasm itself is almost like a rupture of life force energy. It's creation energy. And women are lucky, they are intuitively connected. We are the intuition, men are the more material side. So what's happened is, and how the separation between men and women have happened, it's a long story throughout the years, but sex has been used quite a lot, and to separate men and women, it also needed to separate the woman from the woman itself. So in essence, the media has created competition for women because of beauty standards, because of all of that. Men was taken away into the industrial era, started working away from home. So their dreams started becoming more focused on the consumer industry, on the 1% of the population that wants you to work for them and make them rich. So providing this type of structure for humanity has actually caused a rupture between men and women. Then a feminist thing started, and there off goes the woman, and they don't like men anymore. And men are here working and dreaming for corporations that is draining their energy and their life force, essentially. They don't have their communities anymore and the structure that men used to have. Men used to sit with men. Men used to go out, do things together, build together, help the community. Women had that security of all the men. So women wouldn't fight for only one man. That's also where jealousy and this whole thing comes in, because we only have the one man. Or if we're lucky, some women don't even have the man. And the porn industry and the way women have been overly sexualized has actually allowed men to stay trapped in their lower vibrational frequency. Every time you ejaculate, you're actually getting rid of life force energy. And a man's body sees that as liquid gold. And it's the most resourceful energy in a man's body, is that. So, what essentially now is happening, because of fear-based, because of like the way we are in like the world at the moment, men are stuck in fearing for their family, fearing that they're not going to make enough money, whatever it is. The households are rocky because women aren't with women anymore. And pornography is there. So all of this life force energy is being drained out of men. So if it gets drained, it doesn't go up from the lower point of vibrational frequency. So if you look at the lower part of your body where your penis is, that's where you're getting stuck. And you need to be able to take it up into your heart space. And into the heart space, it means men have to start feeling again. And that's quite a very, very slippery slope and a danger zone for most men, because boys aren't allowed to cry. However, if they are in their heart space and they have a container, even though men contain woman can contain a man's emotions. Women have to drop into becoming nurturers again to allow men to open up their heart spaces and feel safe to express emotion. However, they also have to learn what emotions essentially mean. That means the woman ourselves, like us as women, we have to come together again, where we can express our emotions and our healthy vibrational frequencies, which is like water. It could be the ocean, it could be a little stream, it could be a little ice block, it could be anything. We need to start expressing it among ourselves again, actually speak and have a healthy outlet to actually skin it and do what we want to do and just like rant a little bit and tell each other how we feel, so that by the time we reach our man's emotions, we can actually absorb it and help and guide. Now, if the men take it from the heart space up into their upper space, into their mind, it actually creates dream states again. It goes into the pineal gland. It will create the dream itself. However, the youth industries they just don't want men to experience that, because if men start dreaming again, they're in big trouble. Men would recognize. And there's a lot of men that do. A lot of men are aligning and realizing this is not where we belong. We belong with our families, our communities. Like, that's where men thrive, is having dreams and building things for themselves, doing it for themselves. That is what it's about, not for anyone else except for what they feel in their heart drives them to do something. And it's completely and utterly muted out. We don't feel anymore, and we feel even less for each other, and that's sad. It really is.
And as you're speaking, a part of me feels so sad that we've lost all of that, and another part of me is really, really excited.
Yes.
Because we are in an age of awareness and consciousness and connection with higher power. We're going through the changes. We're in our 9th cycle now in this year.
Yes, yeah, the 9 and the year of the snake. Very interesting.
Yeah. And so there's time for there's major shifts. I mean, look at the world around us. There's such chaos. There's got to be something on the other side.
Yes.
And it definitely does come from mother energy.
The energy. And we are going into into the collective time for the rise of the feminine.
Correct.
And it's, again, just to reiterate on it, the feminine also means in the masculine, the rise of their creativity, their intuition. Men need to feel creative to be able to listen to their own intuition, not just women that has intuition. And we are going into that place where I'm encouraging women to step back or to learn how to step into and reclaim themselves, like step into feminine and reclaim themselves. It's now the time for women to become nurturers and to become nurturers and to really claim themselves. I do feel like that is an absolutely amazing space for women to be in.
So let's go to the dancing.
Okay. Yes.
Because, so what happened was last night, we held a salsa night for couples.
I saw that. I actually went to go and look at your status and I thought it looked so amazing.
So I'm, by passion and a desire, an inner ballerina and dancer of all notes. And so I used to dance salsa for a long time.
Amazing.
And I noticed my own transition, my transformation from a shy young woman, married woman, going through a divorce and dancing through the divorce.
Oh, amazing. I'm getting
and
goosebumps.
transforming into a sensual me.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
As I got more into my body and into the dancing. And funnily enough, connecting with other men physically through touch and being held by men.
Yes.
Some rough, I'm like, some a little bit wussy.
Yeah.
Some a little bit, and others who are very kind and gentle in their movements.
Yeah.
And so so we're on this big thing about date night, right? Let's give couples different ideas and let's open doors for them and give them opportunities to try new things.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was awesome. So we watched the magic happen last night.
Oh, that's incredible.
Camilla and I. And Camilla's my social media manager, by the way, for those who don't know. And and so we watched what happens when people start to move their bodies as couples.
Yes.
We watched how they started and how they ended.
Yeah.
So I see that you do spiritual movement classes, essential movement classes.
Yes.
Do you do them for men as well?
Definitely for couples.
Yes.
Ecstatic dance can be for men and women.
Yes.
However, I do specialize in women. It's one of my techniques that I use is for women. We don't just dance; we use our voices also. I think a lot of women struggle to use their voice, and the movement itself, the expression of moving, that's what women, we should be singing and dancing and moving. Like, it's absolutely essential, even for men, even also like movement to move the energetic forces inside of us is so important. So I feel like the way for women to reclaim themselves is to claim their bodies, and through movement and expression, it's one of the most powerful ways to reclaim who you are as a woman.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going through a list of women I know in my head who I'm sending straight to you.
Oh, amazing.
And I'm coming with.
Yeah, please.
No, for sure.
Please do.
This is really, really exciting, and for couples as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, definitely. For couples, I do work with my partner, Thomas, and we do couples training, and especially on intimacy and all of that, tantra, like really to get it nice and steamy again between each other. But movement is one of them. It's so essential to move together, to touch each other, and not just always think of sexual penetration, because it goes much deeper than that.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
We need to also be teaching women that there's, and men, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's,
that there's
that's
more,
not a thing.
there's a part in between kissing and making out and orgasm.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big chunk in there, and it's called foreplay.
And it's not what's in your pants, boys.
Yeah. And it's not what's in our pants, in our panties.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of foreplay that can last days.
Yes.
Because it all depends on how it starts.
It could be fun. It's like a little adventure. And I think there's also an essence where we've lost the connection to our inner children, like our inner child. Playing is what makes a relationship beautiful. It's because you can play together. You can go on mini adventures, whatever that means to you as a person.
Yeah.
And sex is one of the most sacred and most beautiful energetic exchanges that you can do as a person and as a couple. Or throuple, whatever you are at the moment. There's so many different things. However, movement and dance and celebration and singing is how you manifest the life you want.
And I think it's time that women in particular start to see their bodies as a beautiful body that embodies spirituality, no shame, no judgment, just pure beauty, being able to move sensually, to be able to give, to be able to receive.
Creative expression, that's
expression.
What a woman is. I mean, in the end of the day, we're kind of like portals. We are portals to the mystic, to the other side of the world. And it's a shame that it's actually created distance between each other also, it's like social media and media itself has created one beauty standard that you need to be perfect. And the woman figure is one of forever changing. And it's one that's been like watered and sculptured down to perfection so that we can buy beauty products and so that we can try and look younger and the best. And that's not the way it should be, because everyone's imperfectly perfect.
Sure. We could, as I said, really
chat forever.
But Scarlett, it's been so refreshing.
Amazing.
If I can say. And I started off with the metaphor of water. And I'm going to use it again because it's been like a breath of, like just a splash of water, a breath of fresh air, and so much amazing energy. And I hope you do change the world.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm behind you. I'm next to you.
You next to me. I just want to say, don't be behind me, be next to me.
I'm next to you. And, it's like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Throwing the pebble in the water and watching the ripples, we can do our best ourselves. And it's up to the others to join or not to join.
I do feel like we're in a place in humanity where people want to unite.
Yeah.
I'm seeing beautiful things happening, and not just to beautiful people, like some think, oh, it only happens to the best. It's just a conscious effect of understanding that we cannot no longer go on living the way we do, and we have to unite. Yeah.
Gorgeous. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Well, you can get hold of Scarlett. Can you just tell our
so the easiest way to get a hold of me is going to scarletmoon.net, or you can find me on Instagram, that is scarlet.moonchild, or on Facebook, moonchild.scarlet, or just the hashtag the original Moonchild. You'll find me under that. I like trying to claim something that's universal, but anyways, you can find me there.
Fantastic. And I really hope that listeners do spend time researching you and contacting you, reaching out to you, because there's a lot of healing that you can provide.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
So that's it for this episode, Learner Lovers. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I make a joke that we were taught to draw a locust, be able to name a locust. And it's information that most of us have never had to use anywhere else in life.
Absolutely.
Like, really. Instead of being taught important real life information that is gonna serve us better as we go through life. And yes, it's very important though to normalize these conversations before time.
Yeah.
Because as you say, also with a generation that is struggling with so much, the foods that we eat, most of it is poison to us.
Yeah.
Hence, we struggle with so many reproductive issues. The products that we're using are laden with toxins. We're not spending enough time in sunlight, which plays a huge role. We're not talking enough. There's so much power in talk therapy, you know. We carry things up until like we reach boiling point before. I always make an example that couples are comfortable getting naked physically to have sex before they can get naked emotionally,
Absolutely.
mentally. And
Sure.
if that the roles were reversed, then we'll find that couples are able to navigate even the most difficult of things because they've created that intimacy of being able to look into each other, be transparent, be vulnerable, knowing that, I mean, this is the closest person to me. I should be able then to speak to them. So what? I'm gaining weight. So what? I'm getting a hot flash mid action. Doesn't mean what does it mean?
Wow.
Do we stop?
Yeah.
Like what? Am I embarrassed? Does he get a fan? He fans me. We laugh about it and we keep it moving.
Yeah.
And we had a very interesting off-ramp conversation the other time because normally when we speak about vaginal dryness, we'll speak about it from the side of the woman. And I had that. People are like, I'm not a man. I'll never be a man. But I was like, what do men feel when they're trying to have sex during that time? Do they get cuts? Because I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's dry. And I mean, you don't have maybe lubricants. You're not clued up about those things. But because you've got this erection, you have got this mindset that we're going to have sex. But what is it like for a man? And if he loses his erection also during that time, there's that expectation that he must be able to get it back up at a split second. But what does it do for him also psychologically? So the conversation that comes to the fore of menopause, sex, intimacy, and everything else is also very broad.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's, as we spoke about, the erectile dysfunction that comes with it also. Then this woman is wanting it maybe that day, then the mindfulness that comes also with how you look at your partner, because I mean, he cannot get it up when you were ready. What is that doing to him at that time?
Performance anxiety,
yes,
sure.
You know, and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so multifaceted and it's a lot to think about. You've given me a fortune of information, and I think that's what I wanted to get out of this. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that our listeners have got a lot out of this as well. As I said, I prefer talking than reading in some instances. It's much easier to feel more personally connected with somebody and have conversations about information than rather having to sit and read data and facts and research. So, Oli, I really have enjoyed speaking to you. And I get a sense as well that the shame for women is, like I can just imagine in my mind's eye, a woman sweating with this fan going, and she's feeling quite ashamed that she's really, her hair's sticking to her neck and she's really uncomfortable and feeling very shameful for what she's going through. And that's the picture that I have in my mind. And society does need to be a little bit more empathetic and more understanding about what is going on for women at certain ages.
It's so true.
Yeah. So you were going to say something.
No, in my mind, I just had a quick one. My ex once said to me, having walked the journey with me back then, he could identify a hot flashing woman in a heartbeat. like whether it's at Woolies sometimes, opening a fridge as if they're looking for something. And it's like, I can tell that they're not looking for something, but they're just trying to get that relief.
Yes.
And then he will say that with him now knowing what he does, trying to get a conversation and that empathetic ear, they will be so shocked first,
Yes.
like, why? How do you know?
Yeah.
And then he'll tell them that, no, my partner is in the space, so I know about it. Then the relief, and then they will mask off a bit. So yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
just if we can end on this,
Yes.
maybe something else is coming up for me. When I want to make contact with a woman who I think is struggling because I see her sweating and with the fan and whatever it is, let's say perspiring, beautiful princesses, ladies, queens. I kind of feel like I'm being intrusive if I wanted to say, are you going through, okay, now we're going to go blossoming. Are you blossoming? Or are you going through the stage of life? Are you going through menopause? Like I find, just like everything in life, if it's personal to someone, it can be intrusive and invasive. But if we are able to have these open conversations with each other as women, then I can say, oh my God, you're also going through hell, blossoming. And she can say, oh, me too. And then we can have this little conversation. But I feel that I can't do that with someone. There is that embarrassment around it.
I think manner of approach plays a huge role. Because, for example, yet again, another gentleman that I've worked with, he's retired. He used to be an executive in HR. Now he does coaching. And he said to me, Kole, I can't believe that I was a leader for so many years and I've never known anything about this.
Sure.
How did women fare through it? Fast forward a few weeks ago, I was home in KZN. He calls me. He's like, thank you so much for the education. Now that I know about irregular periods, I was walking to a garage. This woman wearing beautiful white pants. She had blotted into her pants. I saw it. I responded differently compared to before because then I knew that possibly this is what she is experiencing. Then I went to her, greeted her, and I did explain that I hope she doesn't take this in a bad way. But can she go to the bathroom and just have a look? She's got like some staining on her pants. And she was obviously taken aback, but then she was appreciative also because of how he approached her. So it is important that once men know, then they still also obviously are aware, and even us as women, that manner of approach plays a huge role, how you make a person feel as
Absolutely.
you are giving that right support.
Absolutely.
And also sometimes ask, what support do you need from me?
Yeah.
Because everyone has got a different preference. Do you want us to talk about it? Do you wait for me to bring it up? Do you prefer a sense of humor? Can we go on a walk? Then you change of environment. It inspires different conversations, but you don't assume that it's a one-size-fits-all approach.
Your knowledge is, your experience is just so wide and so amazing. And thank you so much for coming along. Your knowledge, your experience, there's on a topic that is so wide, has really been so valuable, really. So I wish you so well in your work, spreading this knowledge all over Africa, South Africa, and helping people helping women navigate this change in their lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Catch you next time.